What happens when you get a prophetic word wrong? So you saw something and you declared it and it wasn't right. What happens? So I went for a meeting one time a few years ago, and prior to this meeting, I have been prophesying already, massive results, accuracy, whatever you call prophetic accuracy. All right, words that change lives, helping people, different things. But I got to this particular meeting, and I started calling out, oh, name, I hear a name like this. Cricket sound, nobody with that name. That day, every name I called, every condition I called, nobody stood up to take it. And it is not because the people in the hall were not receptive or willing, just that everything I saw was wrong. Where I stopped was I walked up to a particular lady. I heard the name Ada. I saw the letters ADA. I felt it was right. Then I walked up to her and I said, hi, ma. Is your name Ada? And she looked at me and said, no, that she's not even Igbo, that she's Yoruba. Ha! Voila. Then I said, okay. It must mean that you are the firstborn or first daughter in your house. That's why God showed me Ada. She told me no. She's the last born of a couple of girls. And so when I noticed that, I just told the audience, I said, well, my exact words were, it be like the angel where they're singing me to they never do freedom. So if I've gotten all of those ones wrong, please, I will not get preaching of the word wrong. So I went back and I taught God's word. Now, this is the hook. When I was done preaching, visions were still coming by the attempts. Let me not disgrace the remaining part of my family members that were not touched by the first set of disgrace. So I began to, as I was done with the meeting, this wasn't around the time, it was not the time when I had a car or people who would convey me to and fro. In fact, how I came for that meeting was on bike. So definitely that's where I was going to leave. And so, of course, people in the meeting greeted me. So, oh, thank you, man of God. Thank you for coming. But I was very embarrassed. I was very ashamed. And because, again, like, I know what I do. I know this thing. Why was it this wrong? Then I left the auditorium. As I was walking out of the auditorium, thinking in my head, I didn't want to call it back. I wanted to walk a little so that I could think a little and allow myself to process the thoughts of what had happened to me. As I was walking, somebody comes from the meeting, literally rushes up to me, not exactly in a sprint, but you could see that he was walking hastily to get to me. So when he got to me, he stopped me, he said, hi, man of God. And I greeted him. And he said he was in the meeting that just finished and that he came for the meeting to just watch, because in his head he felt like what we call prophetic was just entertainment, that it wasn't real, that maybe I had paid the people there to lie and say, oh yes, papa, go deeper, papa, and all of this kind of stuff. So he said he just came to watch and just laugh and but he said that as he watched me get it wrong over and over and over again, but I was still very confident in it, like this thing is real. That even in my teaching, because in my teaching, the teaching was about hearing God, I still emphasized that people could hear God, even though I missed it as much as I did. He said watching me miss it and hearing me teach on the same thing convinced him that I'd heard God. And then right there on the streets, he knelt down in front of me and asked me to lay hands on him and that I should give him what I have. Now, having prayed for him and walked away, it dawned on me that as long as you are genuinely serving Jesus, whether you get it right or wrong, doesn't matter. Jesus is glorified. And this is something that has lingered in my spirit for the longest. I'm not very particular about being right. I'm not very particular about being wrong either. Nobody wants to be wrong. Now, over the years, God has helped me. My accuracy with the gift has been very high. Sometimes 10 out of 10 times, sometimes 9 out of 10 times, I've been extremely accurate with the gift. If it comes out of my mouth, chances are it's right. All right. But that event left with me a lesson which I want to pass across to you. Whether you are wrong or you are right with the proclamation that you gave, still preach Jesus. Sometimes we get into our own devices because we were wrong, and it happens in almost with almost any supernatural gift. So somebody was sick in the hospital, and you went and you laid hands on them, you prayed, you even said, God said in 1 week or in 3 days they'll be up, and in 3 days they're dead, buried, no hope of coming back. Sometimes it affects us so much that we are not able to forge ahead and continue ministering to the sick like the Lord would have us do. This particular tape or this particular podcast you're watching, this one, I'm here to tell you, it doesn't matter whether you are right or wrong. What matters the most is that you delivered it as you received it. The Bible talks about prophesying according to the measure of faith. So you had received the word and you said it. Of course, it's why many times when I'm delivering prophetic messages, I don't deliver prophetic messages in a certain way. I ask, are you? Is there? All right, and I'll be talking about all of those prophetic tags later. Are you a? Do you know a? Because it, again, that experience humbled me and kept me in a place where I realized that I'm also human. And that while the spirit of prophecy and its accuracy dwells in me, it's filtered through my humanity. And so I still don't understand why I was at wrong that day. Till today, it's one of the most embarrassing events I've had ministering prophetically. But that day, somebody who didn't believe was converted. I think that it's a far greater victory than the victory of being known as the sharpest prophet on earth. So, whether you get it wrong or right, the important thing is that Jesus is glorified. So, maybe I should use the last few minutes to try and talk about what you do. So, whenever you get it wrong, whenever you get it wrong, there is one thing that you must do: lean back on Jesus. Even when you get it right, lean back on Jesus. All right. There is a pride, and I get it sometimes. I understand. You know things that people have not told you. Man, there's a pride that comes with it. But I usually discourage people who listen to me, who follow me, who are in training under me, from that pride. I discourage them away from that pride, because you must remember that you are still a human vessel through which the prophetic word filters through. So if you ever get it wrong, please laugh about it, make a joke about it, and quickly move on. You may get it wrong with one prophetic word, but you may get it right to the next 10. Don't stay stuck up on misses. Don't stay stuck up on misses. You may have missed. Doesn't mean that the spirit of life is not at work in you. So if you get it wrong, maybe you thought something was going to happen. Oh, I saw that she was going to get married to me, but now she's getting married to somebody else. Again, like how David did when he prayed for his son, the first son from Bathsheba, and the child still died. When it looks like you've missed it, dust yourself back up again and get up. Learn from it and make progress. If you have mentors, leaders, people who have some skill set in the prophetic, ask them questions. They may show you a place where you missed it. And sometimes even they may not even have the answer on why you missed it. All right. At the end of the day, let's learn to lean back into Jesus. Okay? I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy. There are few things that takes away prophetic confidence, like Dr. David Yongicho, who we know and love now, the story of his life happened during a long, protracted period of sickness.